Welcome to the Wednesdays with EWAT program. I'm sorry, for a moment I've lost my train of thoughts here. Welcome everyone. This is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street. Welcome to lesson 63 of this week's Wednesdays with EWAT. Coming live into the EWAT Club, the brand new EWAT Club. And I'm thrilled if you can join me. Hopefully you're getting notifications that I'm coming in live. It's 3 p.m. UK time here in London. And I hope as you join me, you let me know who you are and who it is calling in, because it'd be lovely to know who's joining. And anyway, how are all of you? So first of all, to my Italian members in the EWAT Club, buon 25 aprile. So this is the Festa della Liberazione, which is to celebrate the end of the Second World War, when the Americans came to liberate Italy from the tyranny of dictatorship and of fascism. So I can see Keiko has joined. Susan's also watching. Hi everyone. How are you, Keiko? How are you? Thank you so much for your engagement in this club in the last weeks. And also Susan, how are you doing? And thanks so much also for engaging with this week's poll. So I'm really thrilled. So we are now 2 weeks in, I think, or we're in our third week of the EWAT Club. We have just under 94 members, so I'm thrilled. Got 2 more to welcome, which I'll be doing later on. So it's lovely, and I can see the engagement, and I'm really looking forward to nurturing this club. Good. I'm so glad you're well, Keiko. Susan, hi. So it must be about 4 o'clock for you, Susan, in Germany, and for Keiko, you're in Myanmar. So what sort of time is it for you, Keiko? Gabriela, hi. Lovely to see you. And again, Gabriela has been one of our wonderful members here at the EWAT Club this week. You've been very busy working on the challenge. So a number of things I want to mention in today's lesson before we start the lesson is, first of all, I want to thank Alessandra, Saba, Gabriela, Adriana, Tam and Giovanna for joining in the email writing challenge, the first ever challenge in this EWAT Club. I'm waiting for Giovanna and Tam to write, but I know they joined. But what I want to say is congratulations to the 4 of you, Saba, Alessandra, Adriana, and Gabriela, for joining in the challenge and doing so well in it, and giving it a go. And I hope that your fellow members will feel inclined to join the next challenge we have. But I thought you did really well, and it was great to have your engagement, your hard work, and I hope you enjoyed the experience more than anything. Hi Path, lovely to see you. So Susan's saying it's 4 o'clock in Germany and it's bright and sunny. Well, lucky you. It is changeable here, the typical weather in Britain. And Keiko, you're saying it's 8:30 in the evening in Myanmar. Okay, so you must have just had dinner. So wonderful. So as I say, the writing challenge went off to a great start. We still have a few more days left until the end. So if you want to still join, there's still time for those of you who want to, then, do try. There's no judgment here. It's a question of trying. If you don't try, if you don't make the mistakes, if you don't try writing and try to express your message, then you'll never really learn. Okay, Path, no need to tell me what the temperature is like in Spain. Thank you so much. 30 degrees. Right. We are 14 degrees, actually, 13 degrees. We had this wonderful weather in at the weekend, so when Britain just goes mad and we all think, oh, it's getting too hot, it's wonderful, and then it goes back to normal. So now we're a bit cold. I'm here with my little yes, I'm feeling very sporty, Rosie. Yes, very sporty, teacher. Yes, I know. I couldn't decide whether to dress up formally or stay sporty. I thought I'd stay sporty. I hope some of you can see me, because I feel it's a bit dark. I've sort of lit everything up, but I'm not too sure. I'm sort of in the dark here. I've got one part of me looking from judging from the camera that I can see here. Anyway, let's not keep talking about. So challenge, good job. Those who did it, fantastic, good work. And looking forward to doing more, and I hope you will join. Those who didn't join this time will do. We'll also have more challenges. Let me know though what sort of challenges you'd like, whether you'd like to have more writing challenges, which I've already got in mind what to do, but there are also other challenges you'd like. So you know, you don't have to tell me what challenge, but for example, if you wanted to test yourself on giving a small presentation or talking a bit about yourself, or you know, that sort of thing, and then I'll put something together. But I've got some ideas here. The second thing is, you will know that I shared a poll yesterday because I want you to help me choose the theme for May, because as we all know that April's theme for English with a Twist was business writing. So all the content that I put together here on social media, on my blog posts, in Wednesdays with EWAT, were centered around business writing. Next month's skills theme is going to be on skills. As I mentioned in the poll, some of you have already chosen what you'd like me to cover. I can see at the moment in lead position is decision making. So making those tough decisions, and also maybe including negotiation, because I know Susan mentioned today that yes, what is a priority for her is helping her clients work on how to negotiate with subtlety. Now she teaches a lot of German clients, and the German culture tends to be a bit more direct when it comes to business. They're not too good, or not too good. It's not important for them to be terribly polite. If something needs doing, it needs doing. We're just going to be a bit more direct. And of course, different cultures have different ways of looking at it. So, so negotiation skills she mentioned was one of that, which I put there, and a number of you mentioned you would like that. But of course, the people, the skill that has the most numbers will win the day. So for the moment, I've got decision making. I will be asking the same questions I've asked you on my email list, and I will see what my readers also choose. But decision making sounds good, and we can also incorporate some of those skills like negotiation skills, because when you have to make tough decisions, then there is also a bit of negotiating, because people want certain things to be decided that are important to them. So they also have to negotiate that, and then you have to make a decision on what's important. So we'll be covering that sort of area. I think it seems to me that's going to be that sort of skill. But thank you very much for your contribution. I hope the other members in this club will also make a decision, choose what they would like. Hi Tam, lovely to see you. Tam, we're looking forward to your writing piece in the writing challenge. So please share. I know you'd finished it, so we're looking forward to it. No, I don't want to put you on the spot, as they say in English, but I just thought I'd share, because I want to encourage you, because the others have done, they put their hard work in, and would love to see your hard work. Don't hide it away from the rest of us. So it'd be good. I look forward to seeing it. Anyway, thanks very much for joining today's class. Right, and then finally, before we go into this class for sure, is next week I am following on from the theme of business writing. I'm relaunching a program that I had last year, and I am launching it exclusively in the EWAT Club, and also to a select few of my email list, which is going to be which is the Business Writing to Fluency Lab program, which is a 4-week program, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be putting together a series of live videos to explain to you a bit more about the program, and I'd love you to join it. So watch this space. That's what's going to be coming up in the first 2 weeks of May, leading up to the start of the program, just to let you know. So that's a heads up. Business Writing to Fluency Lab. So the idea is that you want to give a small talk. What you do is you write about it first, and I help you, I coach you into that so that you're ready to give your talk. So watch that space. I hope that's okay. If it's something that you're interested in, then I'd love you to join the program. Okay, that's it. That's all my little announcements. We talked about the challenge, the poll for next month's theme, and the Business Writing to Fluency Lab. In the meantime, I've said hi to everyone. Lovely for you to be watching. Today, what are we talking about? Now, slightly different. I'm not finishing off this month with writing. I'm looking more about mindsets. Take a look at how we tune our minds into thinking about our learning. So I am going to be, the title of this week's lesson is I can't because versus I can if. So think about that. I can't because versus I can if. Now, some of you may remember I shared a post by a very, an excellent copywriter and copy blogger called Hanneke Doetsmaat, who's a Dutch lady living in the UK, and she writes about how to write good copy. She's a copy blogger. And she shared a wonderful post. Her website is called Enchanted Marketing. So her writing is mainly geared for people who want to write, especially write good copy. And one of her posts recently was about mindsets, about how we deal with, when we have moments when we're unsure, we hesitate. Right? And she came up with this two types of mindsets. You have the victim mindset and you have the transformers mindset. And this is where you have the difference. So we have the victim's mindset that thinks in this way. I can't because, sound familiar? Right, here we are. You have any excuse you'll give it any excuse why you can't possibly do something. So let's imagine it's for English, learning English, working on your English, subscribing to a blog, reading certain blog posts, joining a program, getting coaching, whatever. You will have reasons why you can't possibly do it. I can't because. So imagine you are planning your week and you have to incorporate some learning because, at the end of the day, if you're not going to learn a bit of English every day, you're not, regularly, you're not going to improve. So you're going to come up with something like, I can't work on my English this week because I'm traveling for work. I have too many meetings. It feels too hard. And I don't know where to start, so I just won't bother. Now, sound familiar? I know we all do it, right? There's always an excuse why we can't do something. Yes, Rosie, in fact, the victim mindset is easier because, and I'll talk about it a bit more. But why is the victim mindset easier, Rosie? Please share. Well, why do you think it is? I'd love to know that. Because, why do we always come up with an excuse why we can't do it? So we also say, okay, I'm traveling for work. So, I had this with a client. He says, so next week, what can you do to, complete your assignment? Well, I'm traveling for work, so it's going to be impossible to this. Yeah, well, my big toe hurts today, so I can't possibly do this. I'm feeling a bit tired today, or, there's all some excuse we have. And so we stop ourselves from doing that. Or if something feels too hard and you just think, I don't know where to start, it just feels like too hard, I don't want to do it. And there are, of course, and Rosie's saying, because with that victim mindset, you have to take action. Right, the victim mindset, so if you come up with an excuse, it means you don't have to take action. Whereas if you didn't, that means you have to take action. So it means work, it means, and it's that taking action, isn't it? It's doing something. And that's also coming out of your comfort zone, isn't it? So that, yes. How many times have you You read something, you see it as an interesting program, you want to do it, or there's this coaching session and you think, yeah, I really must do that. I must do that. Yeah, well, you know, and you bookmark it or you do something and, you know, and then you keep finding real excuses, right? And I will talk a bit more about how we get over that victim mindset. So yeah, that's your victim mindset. The other mindset, so, you know, this I can't because, right? So I can't. So we start off with the immediately, I can't do that because. You know, imagine when you were children, when we were children, or if you have children, whenever you say to your child, you know, can you do something? No, I can't because. Really. And you don't believe the excuse because it's a pathetic excuse. And you think, right? And we got to tell ourselves that. Deep down, is that a valid excuse or is this just one other excuse? But then we need to dig deeper and say, why are we coming up with those excuses? And that's when we're going to discuss a bit more later. The opposite of being a victim, having a victim mindset, is having that transformers mindset. Now, all this information I got from this article that Hanneke shared, and I will share the link to that post in the show notes for this lesson. And it was fascinating. And she got these ideas from a book called The Beautiful Constraint. And it's by, I believe, Adam Morgan and somebody else or other. Let me just tell you, because my mind has gone completely blank. And that always helps when your mind goes completely blank. And it's a very interesting book. I sort of looked at it on Amazon. It's by Adam Morgan and Mark Barden, who are business consultants. And they looked at businesses and how certain businesses are more successful than others, but then why. So it's how they have, you know, they move from a victim mindset to a transformers mindset. And so when you limit yourself, when you place a constraint, you then don't proceed, you don't move forward. So having a transformers mindset is where you actively look for ways to get around your constraint and look for things you can control, and you find ways to do what you desperately want to do, right? So you are traveling this week and you're going to have very little time to work on your English. Instead of saying, I can't because I'm traveling, you might say instead, I can if. So imagine you say, okay, I'm traveling this week, so it's not going to be easy to do maybe some journaling or writing because it's going to be a bit awkward. But what I can do is before I can maybe download a few podcasts that I've really been meaning to listen to, and whilst on the plane or on the train, I will listen to them and make some notes or whatever that is. So, okay, I'm traveling, but I can do this if I download some podcast episodes that I've been meaning to listen to and do that. Or you could say to yourself, yes, well, I'm going to be really busy this week, but I can work on my English, or I can read 2 blog posts if I wake up an hour earlier on, say, Monday and Thursday. And you make it very clear in your diary and you schedule it in and you go, great. Okay, you have got a coaching session. You have bought a package of coaching sessions, right? And you have not scheduled those sessions. And you think, yeah, I know, because I've just been so busy. Because I can't because. Turn it round. I can if. Have a look at your schedule. I can if I reschedule this bit. I postpone that because that's not so important. But really my coaching session, I really need to do this because it is important for me and I will do it. I can if I do this. And you work around it. Yeah, so it's possible, right? When people say to us, or we say to ourselves, I don't have time for this, or I don't have the energy, deep down we know we have. So we're only letting ourselves down. We're not letting anybody else's down. You know, so my clients was, Shanti, I said, well, you know, it's you. It's your time. It's your learning. It's up to you. you know, you have to make that decision. And if it's important enough, you will do it. So you will then have that transformers mindset of, I can if I do this. Yeah, so I want to go running, I can if. There are times when you can't. I can't because I can't be bothered. All right, fine. One day maybe can happen. Another day, not so often. So you know, so Rose is being she's being very naughty. I can if I paint my nails only once this week. Okay. So you can work on your English, Rosie, if you only paint your nails once this week. Wonderful. That's excellent. So that's yeah, I'm hoping to get something a bit more serious than that, Rosie. But that's important for you, right? So how many times do you paint your nails? Very interesting. Right. Okay. So it's that mindset. And the thing is, and a victim mindset encourages us to, according to Haneke and also according to these two authors of the book, says a victim mindset helps us to lower our ambitions. Yeah, we then sort of lower our ambitions when we recognize an obstacle. Yeah, as soon as we see an obstacle, we'll think, oh, I can't. Oh, okay, so that's fine. So I'm going to lower my ambition. I'm just going to say that, oh, I can't do it that week, or I can't do it this month. Never mind, you know, I'm not going to sign up for that coaching session, that coaching program, because, you know, I've got time, I'll do it. You know, I've noticed with some clients, you have a coaching program, people go, oh yeah, I've got time, I'll sign up to that. You know, when I have the time, or when it's just not right today, or it's not right this week, or it's not. So it's that, you know, it's not maybe a victim mindset, but it's, well, I can't quite do it, so I won't do it. Much easier to say I can't do it. Yeah, so you know, so you delay it, you'll do it another time, and it will never happen. But if you want to make that change, it's important to you, then you will find a way to do it. So then I can if. Because the transformers mindset uses that obstacle and uses it as a way to find a different way to solve the problem. So, for example, you can't maybe make a session this week with your coach, or you can't, you know, maybe you want to do this particular program and you've signed up for the program, but then suddenly you see you have a number of assignments to do and you think, oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that. But you think, okay, no, hold on, let me use this. So what am I going to do? So you're going to use that, whatever's stopping you from doing it, say, well, how can I turn it around? What can I do to find a new way of doing it? Maybe I can do that assignment in two parts, or maybe I can, you know, put in an extra coaching session, maybe 2 next week, and skip this week. Or, you know, there are such different ways that it is. Keiko, you're saying it's all in the state of your mind. If you think you can, you can find a way. If not, absolutely, Keiko, this is it, isn't it? And it's amazing, you know. And, you know, nothing I'm saying here today is anything new to you and I. And yet, it plays such a big part in, and I mean, I'm as guilty as anything. I'm forever going, oh, I can't do this, or I cannot do that. But it is true. We have, I'm sorry, I'm just bringing in the procrastinating. That's what Susan, sorry, Susan, I didn't see your comments earlier. Yeah, we procrastinate. We you know, we wait for the time to be perfect. We wait for the time to, you know, until something is exactly right before we'll do something. You know, even the challenges that you have, for example, if I submit a challenge to you to write something, some people say, well, I won't share it until I know how to. Well, you're never going to learn how to if you don't start somewhere. There's a really, I want to share a little story which my mother's always told me, and also my father's always told me, is that when he was growing up, and a lot of Asians have this, when my father was growing up, he, you know, maybe sometimes they went to the seaside, and my grandmother would always tell my father, don't go near the sea, don't go near the sea. You can't go to the sea until you learn to swim. But he never learned to swim. I mean, or even if there was a swimming pool, she'd say, no, don't go into the water until you learn to swim. Well, if I don't go into the water, I'll never learn to swim. So I need to start somewhere. And, you know, so in the end, he never learned to swim. But the thing is, if you don't do it, we'll never know whether we're capable of doing something. So we've got to start somewhere. And so those are those little obstacles. And I think one of the reasons why we always say to ourselves, I can't because, and we come up with these really, what I would say, weak excuses, is because there's that fear. That's that fear also of starting something. And, you know, there are all sorts of reasons why we might do that. Or we procrastinate. A lot of people just procrastinate. They're waiting for that perfect time, which will never happen. Or when I have more time, I'll do this. Or when I do this, when I don't know, when there's a full moon, when we have 3 days of sun in a row, I will start doing something. You know, so all the impossibilities. And it's interesting because many people will say, hi Vanessa, and you're saying here, the saying is when there's a will, there's a way. And can we apply to what you and Keiko are saying? Absolutely, because this is it. It's that transformers mindset. As I mentioned, and you might have, as you've just come in now, Vanessa, the transformers mindset is where you're using that obstacle, that constraint as a catalyst. So as something to trigger you to find a fresh approach and a solution. So, you know, imagine you have, you know, there's a reason why, you know, you say, for example, you write and there's writer's block, or you have, you know, you have some problems, or whether it's with your English. Okay, so you really need to work on your English. You need to find that time. You need some moments to really focus and work on it. But that moment to focus is so difficult to find, because there's always some reason. Well, you know, I've got my children coming at 4. I can't do this. I can't do that. I never have a quiet moment. Nobody has. So you think, okay, right? I can't because. Well, what if we turn it to I can if? So take that. Yes, that problem still exists. Let's find us another solution. Let's find it, because if all of us don't find a solution, then no solutions are ever, you know, nothing's ever going to be solved. So, you know, when my clients, you know, I know that, for example, you know, I have my coaching programs, and people will look at it and go, yeah, Shanti, you know, when I'm a bit less busy, I'll sign up. Yeah, it's a really good idea. I really want to do it. Yeah, great. And maybe they start and they're very enthusiastic and they schedule in a couple of sessions, and then suddenly all goes quiet. You think, well, hold on, you've signed up for so many sessions and you haven't finished your sessions. Yeah, Shanti, I've been so busy. I've been, you know, well, there's only a time limit within which to do this program. Otherwise, really, there's, you know, if you prolong things, then what happens is procrastination or boredom sets in. I don't know about you, but when I start something, for example, when I start reading a book, I know that if I take too long between reading sessions, so say, for example, I've taken a moment and then I go and, you know, for the first maybe week, I'm reading consistently every night for an hour, blah, blah. Then I have a big gap of, say, you know, a week. I always find it really difficult to go back to reading that book. You know, I go back and I was like, oh, it's just like so hard. And the same with, for example, sport. You know, you join a gym. You're super enthusiastic at the beginning. Rah, rah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do it. It's going to be wonderful. You do it twice, you do it 3 times. Maybe you've you've gone every day to every single class, you know, at the time you want. And then something happens in your week that stops you from maybe doing 4 lessons that week. And you're like, oh, I can't do it. So you miss a whole week. Maybe you miss the second week. And the next thing you know, it's like, I won't bother now, because it becomes so much harder to get back into it. And so this is when our I can't because starts creeping in. So we can move, and it's very easy to move from that victim mindset of I can't because and go to the I can if, and then move back. So we don't always set ourselves into one mindset, we move, right? Say you have a moment where it's like, yes, it's wonderful, I joined this program, I can't wait. And then suddenly something happens and you don't quite start the program, and then you think, I don't know why I bothered, why did I do it, I didn't have time, blah, blah. And then you give yourself all sorts of reasons why you don't want to finish it. You think, oh, it was a waste of time, I'm not going to bother again. But if you looked at it and thought, well, no, if you did it and just say, look, stop doing, start. You know, the starting is the hardest part. So Rosie's just saying, bear with me, I'm just going to go in and I'm saying, Rosie's saying, do you think that one refrains from taking action because one is scared of failing, and that would be proof of one really doesn't have the ability to do that particular thing? Why is that proof that you're not able to do it? No, the fear of failing means that we don't take action. You're absolutely right. But how do you know you're not able to do it if you don't try? The fear of failure is what stops us from trying. So we immediately think, oh, I'm going to fail, so I'm not even going to bother. Yeah, if I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to run a marathon because I can't do it, I'll fail, I won't be able to do it. Why do you say that? If someone can do it, someone else can do it. Unless you're doing brain surgery, unless you're going to be setting out to become a surgeon, and that's not your skill set, then actually what are we talking about here? We're using English as a way of communicating in our business, in our professional lives. You being able to give a talk, a 10-minute talk, you being able to write an email like Gabriela, Alessandra, Adriana, and Saba showed us, you're perfectly capable of doing that. So that fear of failure is a fear that's stopping ourselves. But we need to be brave, and we go, but what's the worst that can possibly happen? Yeah, that it's not so good, but who's judging each other? It's us. So that fear, you're absolutely right, Rosie, the fear of failure stops us from doing so much. And that's where we need to change that. We need to change that mindset. And that is what teachers and coaches, and this is what, most of my work with my clients, and I would like to also instill in this club, is that you have it in you. All of us have it in ourselves to do what we want to do, what we set out to do. The important thing is to set our objectives that are realistic, that are, the thing is, again, if I refer to the themes that I had in February, goal setting, setting your objectives. If you have that idea and you think, I can do that, great. Now let's work about in your method. How are you going to achieve that? Then once you start breaking it down into small steps, like I keep saying, then it becomes more manageable, it becomes more feasible, and it's doable. Then you finally see. So we start with an email. You start writing that email. You think, oh, no, I can't. I know I make so many mistakes. Doesn't matter. Do it. If we don't start somewhere, we will never know what we're capable of doing. We just don't know. So no harm in trying. Susan, you're saying it's taking that initial plunge into cold water and taking a risk. Exactly. Imagine. I always hate that, right? So you're really hot. You're by the pool, and then suddenly you think, I'm going to throw myself into the water. You think, no, it's too cold, it's too cold, it's too cold. No, but once you're in the water, it'll feel lovely. No, it isn't. So you dip your toe in. No, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to do it. And then finally someone throws you in or pushes you in because they are nasty. You get in. No, it's freezing. And then slowly think, oh, no, it's okay. Okay. Hey, it's not so bad. Oh, I see what you meant. So, yeah, unless something is dangerous and nobody's, I'm not suggesting that any of us do dangerous things. Like I'm not asking you to go bungee jumping, or I'm not asking you to scale a mountain. What we're talking about is using our English to communicate. It's empowering yourself. You know you want. This is what, this is what you need to do. This is what you want to do. Then, that fear of failure shouldn't stop you. I know it does, but we've got to work on that. Gabriela, that's right. Sometimes it's much easier not to take a risk, but then you'll never know if you can improve your possibilities of learning and enjoying the process. Exactly. So you never, is that fear that stops people, that fear of speaking in English. Yeah, oh, I'm scared. What are you scared of? Oh, yeah, I'm finding the right words. Okay. What's the worst that can happen? Try. Maybe the words that actually come out are the right ones. And until you start, then, and you start seeing the reaction from your people, and don't forget that people are always generous. They will let you, they will encourage you to speak. Some fear of making mistakes. Of course, we all have that fear. It's a very valid one. I understand that. I'm the same. But is it so scary? But the thing is, we're all here to help. And the point is, as a community, and this is why I want to build this community, is we're all in this together. We all have this similar fears, all of us. My fear of writing, my fear of running an online business, my fear of not succeeding, not doing well, and seeing someone else do well. And so here's also where the victim mindset comes in. You see someone else do it and you think, oh, you see, they're so much better at this than me. Oh, well, I won't bother. So that victim mindset gives you that excuse not to bother. So-and-so is much better than me. I don't think I'll bother. It's just really. So who are you disappointing at the end of the day? Yourself, nobody else. And it's that, and it's funny because this needs a lot of hard work. It's a lot of working on yourself, telling yourself this day in, day out. I do it all the time. My family know that. We all have fears. We all have doubts. Some days when we feel on top of the world. The next day when you just think, oh my goodness, it's no point. Why am I bothering? So it's that, you just have to constantly think. So you move from this victim mindset to this transformer mindset all the time. So I can if, I can't because maybe something has happened. Okay. Hey, switch yourself. And one of the things that can help you move from that victim mindset to a transformer's mindset is always asking yourself, why are you doing this? Dig deep. Why is English so important in your professional life? Why are you doing it? Why? And then once you think about what it is you're trying to do. And why is it important? But is that why coming from you, or is that why coming from an external force? For example, you will get a promotion. Yeah, the only way you're going to get a promotion in your work is if you have better English. If that is the case, then of course the motivation is external. So that can also have some external pressure. Now, that external pressure could be positive. So if you really, really want that promotion, you're really motivated because you can see more money, more prestige, then you'll work on it. If the why is for you to make you feel better, to prove to yourself that you can give that talk in 10 minutes, give that, write that email and get the right response from your audience, from your reader. You can speak knowledgeably about something or engage in a relaxed manner, comfortably with people when you're at a conference. There's just those small wins. If that's going to, and so therefore it's important to have those small wins and celebrate them, because that makes you think, I can do this. You see, the fear of failure is also because we set our goals too high. So that's why with the help of a coach, with the help, and this is where coaching is very important, because a coach breaks it down, makes you break it down to say, you need to break it down. you know, that's too high. Let's go dig deeper. Let's make it into little small chunks. So having challenges like the one that we had this week, it's a small thing, and someone might say, oh, it's only a small thing, but it's a big thing. It's a, you know, it's something that you've done. Great. One step. Tick box. Let's move on to the next thing. What else would be good? Maybe the next time is not so great. Okay. That's hard. I know. Because in this culture that we have, that we all have to be winning and succeeding, and nobody wants to hear about weaknesses. We do have weaknesses. So constantly moving from that victim to that, you know, transformer mindset, constantly thinking, well, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Is this for me? Then, hey, if it's for me, I am important. I count. So I'm going to do this. Yes, work comes in the way. And I mean, I have this all the time. Like, oh, you know, Shanti, you know, I know. And, you know, and I'll say to them, is this important to you? Yes, it is. So you got, yes, I know. I'll find the time. Yeah, yeah. Much easier to just drop it. But then what a shame, right? Then weeks go by, months go by, and then another year goes by, and then you think, damn, I didn't finish what I wanted to do. This wasn't what I meant to do. I should have done. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, which is this victim and this transformers mindset, and how we can move from one to the other. I'd love you to, I mean, you know, if you have examples of where you've seen people, you know, move from one to another. And Rosie mentioned something very, she said it was a lot easier to have a victim mindset. Because absolutely, and this is what Hanneke says in her blog post, she says that there is comfort in the victim mindset. And it's true, isn't it? It is comfort, because with that excuse of I can't because, we have given ourselves the excuse not to try. You know, someone else is better. I just can't possibly do it this time. And, you know, you've given yourself that example of why, you know, I just can't do it because, and it's so much more comfortable, because what happens is it's not your fault. You have too much work. You just don't have time. You're just too tired. It's just not your fault. Yeah. And, you know, so you're not taking control of that situation. You're not taking responsibility for it and taking it and dealing with it. So there's a lot of comfort. You know, imagine, you know, there are people who think, you know, I'm sure you know that there are a lot of people who think, oh, well, you know, this is my fate. This is my karma. You know, I was born like this. This is nothing we can do. Well, you can take that mindset that there's nothing else we can do. This is the path that destiny has set out for me. Or we can say, no, hold on. That's not the life I want. This is what I want. And this is what I'm going to do about it. So if those moments when you're struggling with your English, where you're thinking, you know, English is going to get me on the path of this is what I want to achieve. Why do I want to achieve it? Because, and you lay out all the reasons why you want to achieve it. And you think, well, it's up to me. I can do this. I can do this today, or I can do it next year, or I can do it at never. So I have a choice. But with choice comes also difficult decisions, and you have to make them. And also comes responsibility. So time and time again, when I hear clients, people, learners saying, yes, you know, I'd love to, Shanti, or I'd love to do your program. Oh, yes, I would love to. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Yes, maybe next week, or maybe, you know, in 3 months' time, or maybe this, or maybe that. Then what happens? Then there's a difference between, you know, I give something for free, or someone else gives it for free. Oh, yes, I'll take it. Now, the thing is, there's a difference between, yes, you are absorbing information, which is one thing, we all do. But then when I say about taking responsibility and taking ownership of your learning, it's not just absorbing, it's taking it and applying it. And that's when we're talking about doing coaching, doing a program, actively writing, actively speaking, trying out what you're doing, not just absorbing. Because here's what I've seen and I've noticed: a lot of people will subscribe to gazillion posts. They will join umpteen Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. They will do that. They will absorb a lot of information. They will get this free e-guide. They will get that e-guide. They will join this group, that resource, that website, blah, 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 until we become completely overwhelmed by all this information. And then we come up with, I'm too busy. I've got so much, I don't know where to start. It's that overwhelm. In the next lesson, I will be talking about how we can declutter our lives and look at, doing this and how to declutter and then focus on one thing at a time. Yes, Keiko, as you say, like you said, if we're living in that comfort zone, we will never come out. Rose is saying this is normally an English lesson, but it's more a life lesson. It's funny because, yes, business English, when we talk about business, being a business trainer and helping business professionals who are, and these are the people I'm looking to help. You are business professionals. Business professionals, it's not like teaching, I'm not teaching them English. The English language is something that you already have. You have it because you've already been communicating the language. The challenge comes how to improve, how to keep going, how to do it. And that all becomes then life coaching. It becomes about coaching you to find the time, find the focus, how to also learn more productively and in the time that you have. And so that is very different from being a teacher. I'm not just giving you information. And this is very much what this EWAT Club is about. I'm not here just as a resource to say, well, here are just the expressions you can use for this. I'm also here to say, well, how are you? Because we can all absorb this information, but then how do you apply it into your daily life, into your professional life? And it's all going to be down to you, not down to me. So you need to find a way to do that. And most of us don't know how to do that. Why? Because in this day and age, we are overwhelmed by far too much information. Now, if you say to me, Shanti, I can no longer follow you because, I've got so much stuff and I need to declutter and reduce the number of people I'm following for English, then fine, do it. Absolutely. I'd rather be talking to a small group than this huge group, because I want you to be super focused on what you're trying to do, which is to develop your professional life using English with it. English just happens to be a communication tool. But what I'm trying to do is help you, develop it professionally. And English just happens to be your medium of communication. I want to give you that confidence. I want to empower you. But empowering is not just giving you the information, the language, it's also showing you how you're going to do it yourselves. Because that's the only way we're all going to do. I mean, coaching in any aspect, if you're setting up your online business, you don't know how to do it, it becomes overwhelming. That's why I set this EWAT Club as a closed group, and I have questions. If I see that people who are joining me belong to 100 other groups in Facebook, I'm going to decline them. I want you to be engaged in this group. I don't want you to just be, the EWAT Club is just one other English language group that you've joined. I want you to be focused. I'm not suggesting that you need to be constantly liking, commenting. You can quietly be observing in the background until you feel ready to join and contribute. But someone who's joined, 100 groups, there's no way you're going to be following 100 groups. How can you? And then what are you going to learn from them? What are you going to glean from? Nothing. You end up, it's like me, this is what I do, right? I'll have all these books I want to read. So I'll add them all in my list. Every now and again, I have to clear that list because it becomes too overwhelming. I'm thinking, I'm never going to read all this stuff. I start getting heart palpitations. I do it all the time. And that's why I'm talking from experience, because I do this, or you'll read somewhere, do this and get this tool and get this guide and do this and, and you do it. You add it to your list. You join this program, that program. It sounds all great. oh yes, I'm going to do it, and then we do nothing about it. Then it all becomes too much. Why? Do one thing at a time. Focus. Stop procrastinating. And this is the problem. When we procrastinate because we don't know how to focus. I'll be talking a bit more about this, and I'm going to continue this conversation because I think it's so important. This is why I want to communicate with my learners and with my fellow teachers here, because we're all the same. And that is also the reason why so many learners fail after a while or lose their motivation in working on their English and in developing themselves as in the way they want to develop. You know, you lose sight of what you're trying to do. You lose motivation and you give up. And the problem is that you have to choose carefully. You know, choose 2 books you're going to read or 2 programs. You know, maybe you've done one this month, maybe next month you'll do something else. Don't sign up to, 10 different bloggers on the English language. Choose the one that really resonates with you, that really talks to you, and where you really learn, and get rid of everything else. But this is another story. I'll be looking at how to declutter our lives, because once we declutter the brain, because it's a bit like spring is here, so we're going to do a bit of spring cleaning, and we need to spring clean our brain. We need to spring clean our email list, our library of resources. So when people sort of say, oh, can you give me, sure, I can give you all this stuff, and then what are you going to do with it? It just becomes another thing you've got, and you never use it unless you're actively going to be focusing on something. And that's why I want to also bring in some programs, and I'll be sharing them with you, and I'll also be testing them with you. You're going to be my beta testers, because I want to see, let's focus on small things and see whether that really gives you, helps you to achieve what you set out to achieve. And even if it's very small, that sense of achievement will help. Susan, baby steps rather than giant steps, then the more chance of success, and we gradually take larger steps. You're absolutely right. The small ones that we do, you write an email one day, you speak on the telephone to your client, and it could just be for 2 minutes. But you've been dreading that phone call. You're not so sure how to talk to them. Or you decide you're at a networking event that you're going to approach that person and you're going to talk to them. That's a small win. Share that small win. And, this is what I want to encourage also in this group is share your small wins every week, every day, every month. Because in that way, we can see. And, if you share your small win, someone else will share their small win. If you share not just your wins, share the days when you just thought this was, terrible. I had a terrible week. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I didn't have time for my English. Right, maybe someone else will make a suggestion, or we can share. We don't just want to share our success stories. We also want to share those moments we have doubts. And I want you to share them with me, because I also have them, and I will also share them with you. Because that way you develop this community of saying, well, come on, we're helping each other, because we're all in it together. Because English is just a way for you to develop that professional life that I know you all want. You want to get promoted. Promotion means more prestige, more money, whatever your motivation is. But it is hard. It's not easy. But nothing worth having has ever been easy. And there are days when you just want to give up. There are days when you just think, well, I come up with this program and then nobody gets it, or I have this book, and you think, well, why hasn't anyone, been interested? And you dig deep and you think, why? What's happened? And you have to keep, instead of having this victim mindset, you need to transform it and say, okay, I can do this because I can do this if I do this. Let me try this. Let me try that. And it's the same in you developing and learning English, developing your study plan, developing the way, taking your hobby. And, that's why, for example, as you say, Susan, using your baby steps, maybe using your hobby and that becomes a baby step because it's not such hard work. So when Rosie mentions live lessons, one of the things about being a business trainer and coach is I want you to dig deeper into the why that you're doing this, and then why are you finding it so hard. Break it all down, and then you start realizing, well, these are the reasons. Now, how can you turn it from that victim mindset? How can you turn it into a transformer mindset? So look at all that negativity. How could you make it positive? It's not easy. It takes a long time. But that's what we need to do, and we've got to start somewhere. And if anyone ever tells me that they have their fear of failing, because I'm not going to speak because I don't want to talk. No, let's do this. Yeah, Susan, we all need to be more generous with our praise to ourselves and to others. Absolutely. Yeah. A few weeks ago in one of the other lessons, I said, the problem is in this culture that we have, that we only share successes. We only, but they have to be big successes, right? That's why, you look and go, yes, I set up my online business and within weeks I was making so much money. Or, I started learning English and you have this, right? Join this course and you'll be speaking in 6 weeks. Wow, that's a massive success. Wow, really? Impossible. That's not going to happen, people. What? You're going to be suddenly fluent? Fluent in what? Maybe you're fluent in ordering a cup of coffee. Then yes, you're fluent in being able to... But fluency has different levels. So this, oh yes, I will be, this success, huge success. Well, that huge success takes years. We need to break them down. So what happens is that big success, nobody, you're there sitting there and you've made that small little success and you think, well, I can't share that. Well, that looks pathetic. It's like my client saying to me, but Shanti, I only made a phone call. There's only one phone call. I said, but how long did that take you? Months of agonizing. And finally, after some coaching sessions, you made that phone call. That is huge for you. Might not be huge for somebody else. I don't care. For you, it is. And the thing is, when you share that, it'll be amazing how someone else will say, I had a similar situation. And you think, really? Oh, so it's not just me then. Yeah? So, social media, we love filtering, don't we? We love this filtering. Everything is wonderful. Everything is fabulous. I'm not going to tell you my fears. I'm not going to share that. And that's why I don't want that happening in this club. I want you to share your fears. I want you to tell me what it is. And, and also if you say, this is what I want to achieve, right, okay. How are we going to do it? Give me the practicalities. Let's not aim for that big success yet. Let's aim for the smaller successes, because the smaller successes will empower us to take the larger strides, like Susan says. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been wonderful. You've listened to me for a whole hour and you are still here, and for which I thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your engagement in this EWAT Club. If you feel there are other people who would benefit being part of this EWAT Club, then I'd love you to introduce them to the club. But please just be aware that they need to be business professionals. They need to have at least an intermediate level of English. So I don't take beginners. It's going to be too hard. So intermediate. So, they already can have conversations. They're already communicating in English. They're using English in their workplace already. And they want to engage in a community of like-minded professionals to develop and help each other and motivate each other in that. If that is the case, then please, please encourage them, invite them to join this club. I don't want this club to be huge, but I want it to be meaningful, and where you think that people would benefit from it, and where we could benefit from each other, then please do invite them to the EWAT Club. Because I'd love that too. And also, if you want to follow my blog posts, which I publish every Friday, then please do sign up to my email list. Just go to englishwithatwist.com, sign up there, and then you'll be receiving the blog posts every Friday. I won't be sharing my blog posts on a regular basis here in the EWAT Club. I want to do different things in the EWAT Club. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Keiko. Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you. Who else was in here? Please tell me, remind me who was in here. Jen was here. Vanessa was here. Path was here. Rosie was here. I'm just looking at the comments that I've been seeing. If I've missed anyone else, please tell me that I've missed you. And I'm so sorry that you're not here. That I missed you out. Thank you very much. As I said, please, add your comments to the poll for next month's theme, which we'll be talking about skills, and I'll choose one of the skills and I'll be working on that. And, look out for the new program that I will be talking about. I'll be doing a series of live videos, short ones, not hour-long like this, to talk about what's going to be happening in that program. And I hope some of you would be interested in joining. It's going to be a very small group, 10 participants at the most, but the whole idea is using writing to help you give a talk, to help you with your fluency. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but I'll be sharing a bit more about that to give you an idea of what it's about. As I say, it's going to be exclusive to this club and exclusive to some of my email lists, so I'm not opening it to everybody. Thank you very much. Buon 25 aprile to all my Italian family and friends, and in the meantime I hope you have a lovely week, lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. And next week is 2nd of May, Wednesday the 2nd of May, for another lesson. This will be lesson 64 of Wednesdays with EWAT. Vanessa, thank you so much. I'm so glad you joined, and I can't wait for your engagement on this class. Thank you, everyone. Ciao for now. See you next week. Ciao.